Hi, and welcome to the Yarn Happy Geek podcast. My name is Laura. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Ravelry as Yarn Happy Geek. There's also a Ravelry group for the podcast where you can find all the show notes and take part in the Doctor Who knit along / crochet along. Now, a little info before I start off this week's episode. If you've been watching my podcast for a long time, you may have noticed last week I didn't do a podcast. It's because I got really sick. I was really sick last week and lost my voice. Only one time I was sick during a podcast, but it was like tail end after. Where I lost and regained my voice, but unfortunately, last week's episode couldn't do it. My voice was going in and out, and I figured skip that episode and explain it in this episode because I'm back and I'm better. Because I got over my summer cold. So now, let's get started with this week's episode, shall we? Alright, let's start with Whips of the Week, or in this case, just this one's, it is Whips of the past 2 weeks. And to start off, we're going to start with the piece I'm working alongside for the Doctor Who, which is my 5th Dr. Cricket jumper. And it's not much because it's all cabling, but I'm finally getting to the point where I will be at the mark for shaping the armholes soon. So yay! So there's that. And next up is something I had to work on like crazy, but it is pretty much a half-done object. It is the first half of my Candy Witch fingerless gloves. I have the thumb stitches on the holder right now, because I have to find my extra set of needles, because I have the needles that I was working on this on another project I plan on finishing, hopefully before next week. But yay, this is basically a half-finished object, and when I'm done an object, I'll be showing probably another whip later on, and I will get started on the next one. But it's so good to have this one off, the majority of all the needles. I just gotta still do the thumb once again. And next up is my Griffin socks. And here's so I finally finished the heel flap and the heel turn, and I still have to pick up the stitches on this side, but this will soon be a half-finished object, which I will be so happy for, because then I will be halfway through a pair of socks for that. Alright, and next up is the Poison Ivy wrap. Mind you, I only got maybe a couple of rows in, but might as well show off, since I've got that nice light coming through the window so you can see through all the nice lace. And I'll probably be working more on this tomorrow, because tomorrow is my scarves and wrap day. And next up is actually something I did a little more work on, which is my Cozy Memories blanket. yeah, I got some ends to weave in still. Thankfully, it's not the majority of the ends, it's just the recent squares I added, which were the two. We have these three, which from Yarn Enabler from the pencil and paper sock set. And then I finally decided to use this yarn. It's my very first opal yarn. I actually went all the way into Ottawa to pick it up because right now Ottawa is the only place close enough that I can get to via public transit. It's got a yarn shop. It sells opal, and I was just, oh. And I do plan on making a pair of socks with this yarn, but oh my god. So I'm finally knitting with it, and it's like, oh my god, it is just so cute. And it's actually based, the yarn color way is actually based on a lizard. And this is basically I'm basically halfway done with the first row of my Cozy Memories blanket, so yay! And let's see. Oh, next up, I finally did a little more work on it. It may not look much, but it's the Red Hood sweater, and I am almost done. These targets, I'm just gonna go up close so you can see. So the targets, the first row of targets is almost done, and then I get to go on the next row of targets. So I'm gonna be working more on this. I'm trying to get it done before FanX, which is next month. So I'm probably gonna be focusing a lot on that. And also my Doctor, my 5th Doctor cricket jumper. And last up, in whips of the past 2 weeks, are my Jack and the Bean socks. And I'm actually finished the foot section now, and I'm now about to start on the gusset stitches. I am so happy because this has been languishing in whip limbo for so long, and the DPNs I used for the first pair were on the Candy Witch fingerless gloves. So now that the Candy Witch, the first glove is finished, except for the thumb, I am finally getting back on this pair of socks, and this is the other half. Because I finished this one last year. This has been waiting a year since I started it. But I will be so glad to have these be a full pair soon. And I might as well, since I have the other half, I can show. So this is I cannot remember the name of the chart, but I believe it's the bean and pea chart, and then we've got the cabling. This cabling is just so amazing. And actually, that is it for whips of the past 2 weeks. Next up, we have something in finished objects. Alright, finished object time. I've got one finished object. If you've been watching my Facebook, you'll have noticed I added it up, and that is Frozen's Anna. So, yay. she is basically all done. Even though I am working on a little accessory for her, which is the cloak, but she is done. Anna is finally done. I finally crossed her off my work list, and I'm just going to show all the little details I put. So yay. I didn't put the details on the boots because I lost my gold thread that I used for the bottom here of her little bodice, and I've got that white streak in there, but Anna's done, and hopefully she will be going to her new home in the near future to go alongside another Frozen commission I had worked on in the past before I started the podcast. So she will be going to the first Frozen Elsa I made. You can see pictures of Elsa on my Facebook and Instagram. And of course, I really need to update my my own personal Ravelry with updated pictures of all my projects. But that is it for finished objects. Next up, I'm going to be talking about the Doctor Who cowl. Alright, so it's time to talk about the Doctor Who cowl. So, I've got some more prizes to show for the knit-along / crochet-along. And if you really have been following my Facebook and Instagram, you'll notice that the second prize is this lovely exploding TARDIS drawstring project bag. Now, this is something I made for you guys, for whoever is going to be the winner of the cowl. Oh, and basically exploding TARDIS on the outside and a nice blue lining on the inside with the blue ribbons. So this is going to be the second part of the prize pack for the Doctor Who cowl. And next up is something I did not post a picture of on Facebook or Instagram, and it's just something I saw when I was buying the fabric for the project bag, and that is this tin. And I'm sorry for the reflectiveness of the packaging, but keep calm and knit on. And it's a mint tin, and it's got mints in it, so that's gonna be basically a third prize, but it's a mini prize. Plus, you know, once the mints are gone, you can actually use the tin to store little stitch markers or whatever you want in it. So that is going to be that's just a little bonus is for the knit along. There's going to be another prize coming before end of this month. And here is the last thing about the cowl. I'm going to be extending it for one more month because it's summer, and you know, some of us get a little busy, especially me. So I'm extending the cowl till end of August. And weirdly, end of August is when I will also be at the Fan Expo Canada. So I will remember to lock in the finished object thread on the final day at midnight of that day. So you got till midnight of the last day of August. And that is it for the Doctor Who cowl. Well, and that is it for this week's episode of the podcast. I will hopefully see you all next week. Until then, stay crafty, my friends.